Welcome, Eagle fans, to the weekly OCS Coaches Show and Senior Spotlight. I'm here in Coach Fitzhugh's office with the man himself, Coach Fitzhugh. Hey, 1-0 on the season. It always feels good when your record ends in a 0.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah. A good 60-14 win against Caldwell. They seem to be much improved since last year, and that's good because I think they should surpass their win total from last year, and that'll help us out in the power ratings. So the first thing I want to start off with, of course, it was 60-14. I want to look at some of the stats just a little bit. And one thing that stood out to me, kind of glared, is turnovers and points off turnovers. So we turned the ball over twice. We have an interception on the first possession of the game and a fumble on the kickoff return to start the third quarter. And that results in all 14 points that Caldwell had. And I say that because I think our defense played well. They were on the field a significant amount of time. I think Caldwell ran over 60 plays. We ran just over 40 plays. And so it was a tall task for our defense. So how do you think they played?
I thought they responded well and got after it. And Caldwell, I agree, they're much improved over last year in spite of losing 2 of their key players. They had a senior that I think had a foot injury in the jamboree, and then they lost one of their better athletes. For the game the other day, I think he went out early in the game, and they still continued to click. I mean, their first 3 plays were first downs, and so their tempo offense and spread, they did a good job of executing things. Had a lot of total yards, and I do think that they're going to have a lot better season than they did last year. But I was proud of our defense. You talk about points off turnovers. Caldwell had points off turnovers. We had points off turnovers, and I felt like the turning point of the game was that Traxler interception right before half. Rather than it being a 22-15 ball game going in at halftime, we were able to bump it up to 29-7, and so turnovers were a big key for us too with Traxler and Brock Abels, and then the punt block for a touchdown. But proud of the way our guys got after it. And again, early in the season, every team everywhere, they're trying to clean up mistakes, whether that's missed tackles, missed assignments, where you're supposed to be. And then on the flip side of the offense, executing blocks, executing snaps. And so again, every school is in that same scenario, and it's a matter of, which school can eliminate those mistakes week to week and clean things up. So
yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about that Traxler interception, but kind of what led up to it, because we throw an interception on the first play of the game, and I guess I can ask you. To me, it looked like a miscommunication. There was some type of miscommunication between the route and the quarterback. The ball kind of sailed on Luke. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't. So they get the ball, they score, go up 7-0. Okay. We get the ball back and we just go right down. Luke caps it off with a nice run to tie it up, and then a couple plays later we get a turnover on downs, touchdown pass to Turpin to go ahead. And then a beautiful throw. I think we get another 3 and out, and our punt. We get good field position. But anyway, we set up and Luke Vadrine to Luke Edwards. Beautiful throw and catch. It was just gorgeous. Anyway, so we're up, like you said, we're up 22-7. Caldwell's going down the field, get across midfield, and look like they're trying to put something together in the last play of the half. Desai Bradshaw comes off the end and just obliterates the quarterback. Ball flies up in the air, and Hunter picks it off and runs it in. So a huge swing play going in.
That was. I thought, like I say, that was the turning point of the game, because again, you're talking about cutting it to a 1-score game, but instead it becomes a 3-score game. And so again, I do think that was the play of the game. And Desai brought the pressure off the edge, hit the quarterback, that made his arm not complete the full rotation of the pass, and Traxler was there and outran everybody to the end zone. So again, to take that momentum into halftime was big.
Yeah, and so start of the second half, it looks like, hey, we're going to pull away, Then we cough up on the kickoff return, and they answer, take it back to two scores.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
That's the game of football. Things change quick.
It is. If you watched over this weekend any of the NFL games, you saw that, but we've seen it before here. And but from then on, again, I think our defense played really well. I think our offense played really well too, because the time of possession, they had the ball for over 30 minutes. We had the ball for over 17 minutes. So they had almost twice as much possession. But part of that is because when we got the ball, we scored quick. I think our longest scoring drive was like a 2-minute drive. That's it. So we had these plays where we had these long touchdown runs to set us up, our long runs to set us up for a touchdown, or really good passes. And so on defense, I want to talk about some individuals, because I mentioned Desai, but he had a monster night. 15 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a punt block, a recovery block punt for a touchdown, and of course that one quarterback hit that we talked about. So he was all over the field. Coach, I noticed that sometimes he'd be on the edge. Sometimes he'd be out in coverage on a slot receiver. Sometimes he'd be at the safety position, and it didn't matter where he was on that field. He had an impact.
He made plays. He did, and with him just being a sophomore, he's going to be an exciting ball player to watch.
Yep. Also, Hunter Traxler, you mentioned the interception that he had, but along with that, he had 14 tackles, I think a sack, a couple for loss. So a really good night for Hunter. And Landon Waller played really good on the defensive line, 9 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and he's the one who blocked the punt that Desai recovered in the end zone. So the 3 defensive touchdowns really added to that lead. The only problem with that is your defense has to go right back out on the field. But hey, they seem to handle that well.
They're a little more excited to go back out on the field after a defensive touchdown.
That's right.
So it worked out good.
A little surge of energy, and then I do want to mention Cooper Thomas, a solid night, 9 tackles, had 1 sack, and then number 54, Drew Copeland, kind of unexpected. Didn't know if he was going to start. He was vying for playing time. He ended up with 8 tackles, and one of them I remember specifically where he tackled the guy 5 yards deep for a loss. Fantastic tackle. So
yeah, proud of getting defense. And you mentioned some of those guys that, Waller and Traxler and some of those that they're so much further ahead this year, week 1, than they were last year, week 1, and that's what that experience and everything does for you. Cooper Thomas and different ones that they're further ahead, and then. Again, Copeland's figuring it out real quick. Desai is figuring it out real quick. Boyan and Abram Parker, first-year starters in the secondary, getting out there and doing a solid job as they're learning to play. And then, just overall, they've guys are picking it up and doing what they're supposed to do and fit together. And so that's good to see those guys excel like that.
Well, the defense has to play as a unit. So, that interception doesn't happen unless you get the quarterback hit, and you have to get pressure. So it takes all of them. And like I said, I think some guys really stand out on the stat sheet. But if you watch the game, you can see that it was a full team effort. On the offensive side, Luke Vadrine, I thought he had a really good night. 9 of 16 for 201 yards. Or I think 210. I think I put that backwards. But anyway, 3 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, had the 1 interception again. But I thought he looked poised. He handled himself well, handled the offense well, especially throughout the game. And when they got the ball, when Luke got the ball in his hands, our offense made some noise each time. And a lot of that was Jude Turner, who had over 100 yards in the first half, finished with 126 and a carry. So
yeah, offense. Luke had an outstanding game. You can talk about that experience. That's one thing we take for granted is just we expect that, and it's not a surprise anymore for Luke to go out and have a great game because he's been doing that for 2 years now. And he and the receivers, they were in sync with each other for, like I say, most of the night connecting. And, we've got to clean up a lot of things on the offensive line to give him the time that he needs because he had a big night in spite of I felt like our scrimmage, we protected things better than we did the other night. And so that's things. Quarterback's got to have some time to be able to catch the ball and get his reads and not feel that pressure, being flushed out of the pocket and stuff like that. But again, he handled that well, and our O-line, those guys are working hard. I know they're going to get that cleaned up as well. And again, that's 5 guys out there that, brand new in the fire this year.
Well, the score was 60-14, so it looks lopsided. But I think that Caldwell, they had a little inside information. Cleo Head used to work here, so he kind of knows, the system a little bit. And I think he had a really good game plan. It held our offense at bay for most of the first half, and I would assume that he threw different things at our offensive line just to try to get pressure, and it seemed to work from time to time.
Yeah, well, and they run a lot of the same defensive stuff that we run. That it's a pressure type defense, bring people from different places and stuff like that, and so. But yeah, it was like I say, score looked lopsided, but it was actually, it was a much closer game as you talk about the touchdowns off defense, turnovers and stuff like that, and so. But it was a good battle.
Mm-hmm. All right, I do want to mention some of our receivers because Turpin had a big night, 5 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. Ridge, 2 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Ridge Coates, number 9. And then number 14, Luke Edwards with, again, that beautiful throw and catch in the first half, 45-yard touchdown. And so those were the guys. I think Eli Gray had a catch also for just a couple yards. So that's who Luke was able to connect with. We did see Ridge get tackled pretty hard on the sideline over there after one of his catches. Scored the touchdown later, but he was out for a couple plays. Also, we saw Tristan Raymond on the field and Micah Mosier on the field. So is there any kind of injury update that you can give us?
Those guys are getting, like I say, we're glad they're able to be out there and play and just continuing to heal and get stronger each and every day. So that's it's been good. No one, no injuries in that game or anything that's going to keep anybody out.
All right, so we're going to look forward to this Friday when we host the Panthers from General Trass, and we'll get into that game just a little bit. All right, last year we played them and won 51-0, dominant performance. Okay, however, General Trass finished the season 5-5. Okay, but then they go make it all the way to the semifinals and lose to Haynesville to make it to the state championship. So. Is this a Jekyll and Hyde type team where you don't know what you're going to get, or what do you see?
And we may have beat them 51-0 last year, but it was 7-0 with 5 minutes left in the first half, and we scored 4 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of that game last year. That I think we had a offensive touchdown, then we got a pick 6. We onside kicked and got another score, and then held them and used our timeouts to get another. But it was 7-0. With 5 minutes left in the first half. General Trass, they have come to expect to win. Coach Toriano Wells, I think, is one of the best coaches in North Louisiana, anywhere in the state. They were 0-10 for 2 years in a row when he took over in 2016, and they've been to the semifinals twice. And so he puts a lot of work in it, disciplines the players, runs a great scheme and works the guys hard, and just has built a great culture there with that program. And so they're not a Jekyll and Hyde team. Like I say, last year it was one that we were able to just make a lot of big plays right there, get the ball rolling at the end of the first half. So again, talented football team.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of their film. I know they have a quarterback. He's a big kid. He's huge.
Campbell is a big quarterback. That he's going to be a load to bring down at 215 pounds.
Yeah, and they had a tough loss last week to Rayville. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I thought they would beat Rayville, but we don't know what Rayville has this year. So they're coming into the game 0-1. Also, we mentioned the semifinal run last year. You feel like that, they come in kind of with a chip on their shoulder. They want to at least make this a game and keep it competitive. So
yeah, no doubt.
So what kind of offense? I mean, what are we going to see from them?
Well, like I say, Campbell at quarterback is their main guy, but they're going to run multiple things offensively. That they'll be in a 4 wides at times, but then there's also times that they'll come in with 2 tight ends and 2 backs in the backfield and try to pound you. And so They mix things up, try to get their players on the edge, but at the same time they'll use their big linemen to come straight at you and just run zone and counter scheme. And so that's what we'll see offensively. Defensively, they'll line up in a 3-4, almost looks like a 5-2 at times, and they'll bring a lot of pressure, play man coverage, and so they'll bring pressure there. And it's going to be a challenge for our offensive line to communicate and again, just execute assignments. But talented football team that they'll be coming in here on Friday night.
All right. Well, last thing I want to ask you, Coach, is this cheer week? Is that what we're doing Friday?
Our little cheer camp this week. So there will be a lot of cheerleaders out there first half and halftime show and everything like that. So, yes, it will be a packed night for sure.
It will. For all those little cheerleaders, there's going to be some mom and dads that want to see them out there and take
That's
those
right.
pictures.
I'm sure they're coming to watch part of the game as well, but their main show is going to be halftime.
That's right. That's right. All right, Coach. Well, I again want to thank you for your time and your insight into these two games, the win last week and the upcoming one on this Friday. I want to wish you the best against the Panthers this week. And I want to let everybody know I appreciate you guys watching. This OCS Weekly Coaches Show is sponsored by McDonald's on US Highway 165 North. Stop by there on the way to the game or check out the McDonald's app for deals and rewards. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with our senior spotlight this week.
84 weeks ago, with precisely 2 likes at the Rio Sarah Pascal, posted at McDonald's. Stop pretending like you don't see our snack wrap comments. It hurts. You thought they didn't see your comments? Petitions and posts? The DMs for 9 straight years? Those comments are the reason this exists. Snack wrap is back.
Welcome back to the weekly OCS Coaches Show and Senior Spotlight. I'm here, and it's my privilege to be here with number 2 senior Hunter Traxler. He's playing the strong side linebacker this year, and I know we all had fun. If you watched the game on Friday night, it was a fun game to watch. I know one of the big plays was an interception that you had right before halftime. So, Caldwell's going down, trying to score before halftime. We put a hit on the quarterback. Ball flies up in the air. You catch it. And here's what I want to ask you. You look down there, and there's nobody between you and the goal. What's going through your mind at that moment?
I just felt like a gift from God, to be honest.
Yeah, you're like, don't fall.
Don't fall. Don't drop the ball.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that was an awesome moment with that open field, and you make it all the way down, score, kind of flip the game a little bit, take the lead 29 to 14, to 7 at this time, 29 to 7. And so you're playing this linebacker position, okay? Strong side, Sam linebacker. But that's not what you played last year. You played rover last year. So you've made that transition. You ended up with a strong season last year. So knowing that you're going to move positions, did you know that?
To an extent. Yes.
To an extent. So what did you do to prepare this offseason for that?
Really just watching a lot of people who came before me, like kind of following Coach Fitzhugh's standard of we play for those who came before us, and like just watching a lot of film. I feel like I've dedicated a lot of my time to this and committing myself to it, and whatever that looks like.
Well, I can confirm that because I would spend some time up here, and I'd see you up here in the weight room all the time, working out. Do you guys, as a linebacking core, we got some pretty good linebackers this year. Do you enjoy spending time with that group of guys?
1,000%. I mean, it's a fun group to play with. We just feed off of each other, and it makes it a lot more fun to be around.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So another thing I want to ask you about, again, it was a great win the other night. You guys are 1-0, but kind of off the field, you've got a little brother here, and he's in kindergarten. I've got a little son that's in kindergarten. They play ball together, and I think it's really cool that these guys look up to you the way that they do. And so when you put on those pads and that helmet, you're like a superhero to these kids. What does that feel like, man?
I mean, it's huge. Just like seeing the look on my little brother's face when I get off the field, and it's like he's just like in shock. Yeah. It's like, that's my brother. It's really cool. Yeah, and
they're cheering for you, and they all want to be like you guys. So I think it's it's a good burden to carry. All right, so I think you guys are motivated this year. Is that fair to say?
1,000%.
1,000%. And you have kind of become the thermostat of our defense. You lead with energy. And I think that's, it's really fun to watch, especially when something big happens. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think it's going to take for this team to make a run this year?
Really invest in the term unit. Like, when one of us is suffering, then we're all suffering. And when we're all good, when we're all hyped up, and we're feeding off of each other. So like just the energy, like feeding up and like surrounding those who are struggling. Because if one person's struggling, then we're all struggling.
Yeah, and does that happen often where you have to, somebody makes a mistake and you guys got to step in?
We hold each other accountable.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Hunter, I got one more question. I think just one more. But I love football. I love football season. I love watching you do your thing out there and your teammates. But I know you outside of football. I know your family, and I know that you're more than just a football player. So what else are you involved in here at OCS or in your spare time, and what are your plans for next year?
Well, I'm in a bunch of the clubs, like Impact Club, Art Club. I did track for forever here, and trying to think of what else. I'm really invested in all of our sports. Like, my dad's a coach here, and my mom's a teacher here. So kind of have to be involved in a lot of things. And plans for next year, I'm going to South Alabama to get my degree in biology, focused pre-med. So. Okay,
down in Mobile. All right. Well, I know we wish you the best. I know all the fans wish you the best, and I want to thank you for your time. You're missing some of Coach Harper's class, so I'm really sorry about that. You gonna be all right?
I'm gonna be fine.
Okay, good. You got a lot of fans cheering for you and your team, and we're all looking forward to the matchup this Friday as we host the General Trass Panthers at 7 o'clock, Fitzhugh Field and Eagle Stadium. So tune in to Power 92.7 on your terrestrial radio. You can go to MixLR app or the Media Ministries app to catch the pregame that begins at 6:10. I want to thank you guys for watching and tuning in to the McDonald's Coaches Show and Senior Spotlight on the OCS Sports Network. Go Eagles.